Hi, this is Phil Spencer, and you're listening to the Inner Circle Podcast, for the fans, by the fans.
Thank you for landing on Planet Xbox. You are now rocking with the Inner Circle, and this is your podcast, for fans, by fans, so salute to you, the Mighty Mighty X Units. This weekend, we were supposed to release our first call-in special. Unfortunately, during editing, the show got completely corrupted, along with the save file. This is the reason why our latest episode had taken so long to release, because we actually had to re-record the show without the call-ins. So stay tuned for our next call-in special, and I'll announce that on my next pod shot. Today we're just going to focus on two topics, but before we get to those topics, our panelist, Bmuny 101, actually has been having, conversations with one of the guys behind Joe Montana football. And, there's a lot of speculation about whether it's exclusive, whether it's going to be, have an NFL license. So we're going to let Brandon talk about how that came about, how, him talking to the developer, what the developer said to him, and, kind of give our take on the whole NFL thing. Brandon?
Before I get started, man, I got to shout out all my guys over at the Sim Nation, the Sim Standard, all those guys over there, Azure Effect, SimF Ball Critic, Smitty, Gaddon, G-Rob, all those boys over there who really hold down the Sim Nation. So shout out to them dudes. But we're going to talk about Joe Montana football and where it kind of started from. Back in 2013, there was kind of a rumor of 2K head scanning the NFL players like they do the NBA players.
Right.
So there's a big rumor about that. Everyone was speculating that 2K would be coming back to E3 in 2014. As we know, that did not happen. While at E3, though, everybody knows Hip Hop Gamer. He did an interview with Rex Dixon, who works on Madden's football game.
Right.
And in that interview, Rex Dixon kind of called out 2K and challenged him to make a football game. So that happened on June 11th, 2014. And exactly 30 days later, Joe Montana sends out his first tweet. So on July 11th, he tweeted out, "You've waited long enough, Joe Montana football 2016.
That's nice.
So then, October 21st, Damon Groh, who is actually working on the game, he tweeted out a picture of Joe Montana in a mocap. So we knew that there was an actual game going on, but with speculation, everyone thought it was a mobile game by the studio that they were kind of working in. October 22nd, Joe Montana tweets out more than just a roster update. And anybody who plays football knows exactly what he was talking about with that. Everybody who plays Madden knows that it feels just like a roster update every year. So that was a direct shot at Madden with that tweet. And in that tweet, it was the first teaser of Joe Montana actually moving in the mocap studio.
Right.
So he's dropping back, throwing passes. So they're getting that recorded. And then in November, there's various tweets by Damon Groh, a couple of photos of the team working on the game. Everybody in mocap suits, they're doing, celebration dances and things like that. Just kind of goofing around in the studio.
Right.
December 31st, New Year's Eve, we get our first photo of the first character image running in engine. Mm-hmm. And if you guys see this photo, or if you saw it, you would say, damn, this looks pretty good. For this game to kind of come out of nowhere, this image looks pretty good. January 21st, we got our first video, which was running in engine, and what it was displaying was their sweat concept, their eye dilation, and their blood vessel dilation in the ears. So if you head over to Damon Groh's Twitter and go back to January 21st, you can actually check out that video that he posted. It's a pretty nice video. And all the while, Damon Groh is kind of retweeting everything about that Unreal Engine is reposting. So there's a couple tweets where he's retweeting just about anything that Unreal posts up. So that kind of got everybody suspicious that they were using Unreal Engine.
Right.
So then February 4th, we got a photo of a actual Twitter stream through the stands, and what it actually showed was tweets that have been sent, to Damon Groh and Joe Montana about the game, and it was actually going across like the scoreboard. So that was kind of unique to see, some fan reaction and things like that, could be part of the game.
Right.
March 16th, we got the big reveal that Joe Montana sent out himself, and it was a picture of the game running in engine, and it had a logo of Unreal Engine 4. So we got the big reveal. It let us know that they were using Unreal Engine. So that was pretty big. It's also good to know. I've kind of been talking to Damon on Twitter, and one of the things that he mentioned was, their daily devotional for the game. What kind of inspires what they're trying to achieve in the game is NFL 2K5.
Right.
And everybody knows that the whole reason that Madden kind of has the exclusive license was because of NFL 2K5. 2K5 kind of hit a big splash that year, and they released the game at a $20 price point, and it kind of outsold Madden, and EA wasn't going to have that. So they snatched up those rights real quick, and after that we didn't get another NFL branded game besides Madden. So I've been talking to Damon, back and forth on Twitter, and we've just been discussing things. He's kind of let me know a few things that I really can't discuss here. But Joe Montana football is a real thing.
Okay.
It should be releasing this fall. So be on the lookout on that. Competition is back. So,
hey man, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great news.
If you guys are into simulation football, this is what they're aiming towards. This will not be an arcade style game. So, competition is back, and I'm pretty excited about it. If you're into simulation sports or anything like that, head over Operation Sports. There's great forums over there. A lot of guys in the community talking about the game and what they expect, and speculation and things like that. So I advise everybody to kind of dive in, man, and see what you can find out. I didn't do anything special to get my contacts. I just started a conversation, and it went on from there. So anybody can do it. So
that's what we usually do. I don't know if people think that we have some type of magic sauce or we're begging people. We don't. We just ask. And, guys are willing to talk. Guys are willing to chat with us and chat with any podcast, honestly, if you reach out to them, and ask them certain questions that they can actually talk about. So I think that's real interesting. I think that the dynamic of bringing the NFL would be major, major, major. And I think no better publisher to work with is Microsoft. I mean, you look at it from the perspective that Microsoft has this NFL licensing deal. The NFL uses their Surface tablets. They have this NFL Snap app feature with the Xbox One and NFL Network, which is extremely, extremely, a big deal. You're able to do fantasy football through it, watch all these different segments of NFL Network. And what's really, really cool about it is that you can snap it. So you don't just have to have it on full screen, including DirecTV's NFL Sunday Ticket for those who aren't in their hometowns and maybe want to watch, football or just watch football in general, around the clock, every single team all over the nation. So I think that Microsoft somehow has found a loophole. That's what I think. I think they found a loophole. I think they know that most fans will not buy Joe Montana football if it doesn't have the NFL license. It's one thing to come out on your own and create another NFL All-Star game with retired players or something like that, and you make that go, multi-platform. It's another thing when Microsoft as a major company is starting to invest into a football game, as rumored, a football game for Xbox One and Windows 10. Now, we've heard it uses Unreal Engine 4. They're building it off of Unreal Engine 4. So what does that mean? DirectX 12. Another thing, what have we heard recently? Windows 10 is going to be releasing this summer. What game is supposed to come out this summer? Joe Montana, NFL 2K16. So everything is lining up. These things are lining up, and everybody has seen Joe Montana in these generic looking jerseys and these generic colors, but something B said to me made complete sense. Why in the world would I start a ruckus about a game that is probably supposed to be a surprise at E3 and put a NFL official licensed jersey on the back of Joe Montana, on the back of any created player in the game, and just give away the biggest surprise that most fans have been waiting for over a decade. And doing it with custom teams, because remember, most football games have custom teams. It's a custom team jersey with a custom team logo. You can see the fake logo and you know that that's not official NFL. But watch at E3 when they drop the game and the dude is walking around with a 49ers jersey on. And that makes sense. So I think for all the people who feel like, I'm not going to get it, or it doesn't make sense for it to be exclusive, it should have been multi-plat. Listen, Microsoft is, and I hate to be that way, but the reality of it is Microsoft is an American company. Football is an American sport. And Madden sells very well in the United States. And that appeal is huge. When you're trying to make that comeback, you're trying to take back the homeland, what other way can you say to people, hey, guess what? We have a game that the football fanatics, would love to play. And here it is. It's not Madden. It's not a roster reshape. It's not something where you have to learn some, crazy control scheme that they've added because it's bananas. No, we're going to take it back to the basics. But we're going to give you something new, something fresh, something original. And I think Joe Montana is about to be that game, and it's going to punch EA in the mouth when it drops. Mike, what is your thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I mean, as long as the game has actual licensing, NFL licensing, I'm definitely probably all in. Mm-hmm. It also depends on the developers, though, man. I mean, is there any confirmation on other than Damon Groh, is that?
There has not been official confirmation of who's publishing the game. Or
I would imagine. I would imagine if it's something like Joe Montana with that name just in itself, it's going to be a dev that knows what they're doing. So I'll put faith in that. If this game has the official NFL licensing, I'm definitely intrigued because I haven't bought a Madden game. I mean, geez, man, I'm playing Madden 2012 on 360.
Right.
I mean, I haven't bought a Madden game in a while, guys. So for someone like myself who wants to see something refreshing and new in NFL game, just games in the NFL, I definitely am looking forward to this because I love the 2K series.
Right.
Loved it.
No, it was definitely one of the best series. I mean, the greatest thing about 2K to me was that it was so realistic. During the time of 2005, when I first played NFL 2K5, what really intrigued me about the game was, first of all, the player models were large, way larger than Madden. There was weight differences you can actually see. I think in Madden, the detail wasn't as good as 2K. Also in 2K5, one of the things that they had included was in the helmet, first person view. A lot of people don't remember that.
Oh man, that was awesome.
That was sick. And, awesome. Catching the ball from first person view, intercepting the ball from first person view, throwing passes from first person was pretty dope. You also had the ability to train your guys and heal your guys during the week. You had a weekly schedule that you could do. You can put somebody in a hot tub that's injured. You can put players in a cold tub after the game. You can weight train guys during the week, and you had practices that you can actually run before your game started. And throughout the course of the week, that would either increase or decrease player stats. You never had the same team stat-wise every week. One week, your overall could be 90, and the next week, you could be at 85. That's really authentic because every team doesn't stay at a 90 throughout the course of a season. You get injuries. You get guys playing at lower levels than they usually play. You know, you might have a quarterback throw 15 interceptions this season, but the year before he threw 2. So I think it's really, really a really great concept that they had it that way to begin with. And at the end of every game, if there was a close game from the CPU side, what was really cool was they would show you the last 2 minutes of the game, and you would literally see either this team trying to make a comeback or this team trying to score on the goal line. And if they got stuck, that was it, and they would cut out. But it was very innovative. And don't remember at the time they had ESPN. It was actually ESPN NFL 2K5. So
yeah, and they had Boom.
And they had Boomer. Yep. And they would show the highlights. It was very innovative football game. I think that's why the fans love it and remember it so well. Very interesting dynamic in that regard. Love football. It's my favorite sport. Brandon, real quick, do you think, if you could guesstimate, do you think that they do have the NFL license? Like maybe that's the reason why they leaned with Microsoft?
Yeah.
I would hope so. I think it would make the most sense. I think that's one of the reasons why platforms have not been announced yet. When most games are announced, it usually lets you know what platform the game is going to be in, that you can actually access the game on.
Right.
And for some reason, there has been no announcement to which platform this game is going to be released on. There's speculation of it being mobile when we first heard about it. And then, from screenshots and things like that, we kind of realized that it's not a mobile game. And especially now since it's using Unreal 4, we automatically assume that it's going to be a console game.
Right.
So you would think, or hope for that, it's going to carry NFL licensing. I would hope that it would also carry ESPN or something of that nature, where they hook up with one of the sports broadcasting teams, even maybe NFL Network or something like that.
Right.
To have that full presentation.
Yeah. I think Madden has the ESPN joint locked up.
Yeah, deal.
But
Whatever,
I think NFL or Fox. Fox would be cool because I like Terry and all them. Terry, Howie, Strahan, especially Terry. Terry's hilarious. You got I forget his name. Not James Brown. James Brown is on CBS. I forget the other guy's name. But I think Fox is cool. Fox got that theme music.
NBC would probably be second on my list, and then last would be CBS.
I probably would go CBS and NBC, being that they no longer are like the Monday Night Football guys. I mean, they have Sunday Night Football, and they got like a new theme. It's kind of lost its flair to a certain extent. But definitely NFL on Fox. I'm a Jets fan, so I watch my games on CBS, and they're cool. But there's nothing like watching football on Fox. The music, they got the robots doing flips during, right before. It's just something about NFL on Fox. They just give you an entertainment factor that you don't get anywhere else besides, NFL Network, Thursday Night Football, which is an interesting thing as well. So. I think it's interesting. I'm really hoping that we do get a new football game, because I just want to reflect on Madden for a bit, and that this franchise has been going for a very long time. And you have people that love it, you have people that hate it. And I'm the type of guy that skips a franchise. I was actually buying the NCAA because I preferred it more than I preferred Madden. But now that no longer exists, I had to go back to Madden to get my football fix. And Madden has been the type of game that I'll skip a year. It's like a skip a year game. Like last year, I bought Madden. Unfortunately, we had an unsuccessful league that we'll try again, maybe with more people we know than less strangers. But Madden is the type of game that you skip. And I skipped 2014. No, I skipped 2013, but I picked up 2014. So I'm 2015, excuse me, and I skipped 2014. So I'm hoping that this year I can finally have a decision to make instead of saying, okay, well, I'm going to make
Yeah, it's
Madden.
Madden.
Right.
It's Madden.
You
No
know?
choice.
Exactly. Like, I'm hoping that I finally am able to make a decision. Do I want to get 2K16 or do I want to get Madden? And what's really dope is if it is 2K16 and if it is Xbox, I guarantee you it's going to be on dedicated servers on Azure. And that makes complete sense. And crossplay makes complete sense as well. When's the last time you've seen a Madden on PC? You know? So, I mean, PC players get an opportunity to play the game. That's another exclusive that something like Phil said would be PC crossplay, which we're going to get into shortly. But, you know, as of now, I think that it's really cool that this game might be coming, and I think it's even cooler that it may be coming exclusively to the Xbox One, which really is nowadays the I don't want to say the best place to play Madden, but really the console that kind of dominates the Madden market to a certain extent.
Yeah, and if you think about what Phil tweeted out a couple weeks ago about him playing 3 games, and you know, some of them being first party, some of them being third party, and you know, everybody kind of speculated games that we had already heard of. But what if it was Joe Montana football,
right?
That he played,
right?
You know, so
yeah, man, it might have been. We just don't know. Don't know.
So, you know, we're gonna move on to this segment that is very controversial in the Xbox community. You know, unfortunately, we haven't been able to really agree. Xbox fans, you know, you got some Xbox fans that have played on PC and have come to Xbox, and you got some PC fans that just want every exclusive on the Xbox. And of course, you have guys like myself who feel like, you know, exclusives going to PC hurts the install base of the Xbox One system. Now, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, I feel that though it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword for Microsoft because of the simple fact that you look at it from 2 perspectives. If you release games on PC exclusively, and you release games exclusively on the Xbox One, and they're sharing games on cross-play and cross-buy, that is maximum profit for Microsoft. Maximum profit for Microsoft. And I've spoken to plenty of guys on Xbox and even my own team about this. And I'm going to reiterate it, that I don't think people realize what Microsoft is doing. They really don't. This is like it's almost like the sneakiest way to come in and dominate financially and game-wise. You have a console that owns 80 to 90% of the market of operating systems in PCs. And in that regard, you then turn around and say, guess what? We're going to give the entire world Windows 10 for free. Not only are we going to give you Windows 10 for free, we're going to give every PC gamer Windows 10 for free that comes with an included Steam app. But there's more. There's more. We're also going to give you an Xbox Live app, and that's free as well. Now, obviously, a lot of Xbox fans don't like that. It feels like we're the ones paying for the service, which is true. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it from the perspective of Microsoft trying to get back into this PC market. Now, again, I do not agree with exclusives going to PC. However, understand Microsoft's thinking, because I kind of understand where they're coming from as a businessman. As someone who understands business, I understand where they're coming from. PC gamers are not going to pay for a service online when they have Steam and it's free. If you're going to enter the PC market, there's no possible way you can charge PC gamers and think that they're going to turn around and pay to play Halo for $60, $60 a year. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It would be the app itself would fail. They would rather stick with Steam. With Steam, it's free. You get discounts. You're not paying anything. it's a different dynamic on PC. Do I agree with it? No. I feel like they should pay as well, but that's because I'm a console gamer. I'm not a PC gamer, and I feel like it's wrong that I have to pay $60 for the year, and these guys are starting to get similar benefits to us on the consoles with, Xbox record that, and they have upload studio, and they get the opportunity to share games. Yeah, it's kind of not fair. So I think that Microsoft needs to figure out a way to allow incentives or more incentives for the people that are on console to compensate for us paying and these guys getting it for free. But at the same time, if they did pay, it wouldn't work. It'd be a failure, and Microsoft can't afford that. They can't afford for this situation or this app to fail. So in that regard, yes, it's a smart business decision. Now, you have guys who play Steam. Then to have the guys who play Steam turn around and say, hey, guess what? Let's just throw a random game out there. Let's say Max Curse of Brotherhood. Max Curse of Brotherhood is available on Xbox, the Xbox Live app. I want to play that game. It's free. All I have to do is buy it. And once I buy it once, no matter where I am, I'm able to play it, whether it's on PC or whether it's on Xbox One. And that concept right there is actually a pretty cool concept, because no matter where you are, as long as you have an app, you have access to the game. But for the PC gamers who don't have an Xbox One console, they could download the app and buy the games. And if they get an Xbox One, they can eventually cross over to it. But here's the point that I'm trying to make. I don't see why a PC gamer would then turn around and buy an Xbox One. It makes no sense to do that now.
Right. Yeah.
So
might be
right. So that's the double-edged side of the sword. You lose the PC install base of the Xbox side. The guys who say, hey, I want to play Halo. The guys who say, hey, I want to play Gears. I'm going to turn around and go out and buy an Xbox One. Will then say, I'm not buying an Xbox One. I'd rather see if it's going to come to PC first. And it may be just enough exclusives that go to that goes to PC on Windows 10 that they don't even want to buy an Xbox because they're getting the exclusives anyway. What are your thoughts on this, Mike?
One of the main differences for me is, and one of the reasons why I would still pick the console over the PC if I'm someone that's just trying to buy an Xbox One, or get some of the exclusive games that are coming to Xbox One that are also going to release on PC. I like to have a huge TV. I don't know, I'm not really big on trying to, just look at it on a small monitor, or take my PC rig and hook it up via VGA to my TV, which is too much of a hassle. So it's a convenience thing for me. Plus, I don't have to sit there and pre-configure controller settings for some of the PC games versus using the mouse and keyboard, which I'm not the biggest fan of. So that right there in itself would still steer me towards the Xbox One platform over the PC. But that's me, and I'm certainly, that's my opinion. And I'm not speaking for everybody, obviously, and there's some people that really don't care about that, even though it's hard for me to fathom why, because I just like having a huge screen to sit there and stare at and play on. But as far as your ideas about the Steam app and the Xbox Live app and stuff like that, I mostly agree. I think that the Xbox Live app, though, I think it'll be a good in a sense, for marketing, from a marketing standpoint, because it's going to be on every PC is going to have it. It's going to be right there preloaded with Windows 10. I mean, that's pretty huge right there. And then if they're trying to put this new initiative through the crossplay, where, like you said, with Max Curse of the Brotherhood, you buy something, you make one purchase and you're able to access it on multiple devices, and actually eventually, hopefully, with the power of the cloud and things like that, be able to actually play it on maybe even some games on your mobile, on your phone, I think that's pretty awesome, man. So I think that's a good way. I think it's a good direction in that aspect. But then again, once it comes down to the thing of Halo 5, say they announce, sometime thereafter they release Halo 5 for Xbox One, it's coming to PC as well. I do think there comes a problem with, playing multiplayer features on your PC, but yet not having to pay for the Xbox Live membership. Or, as I'm still a little bit murky on that. Are they expecting us to pay for an Xbox Live membership?
Yeah, that's the question.
Or is it going to carry, or is it easily just going to transfer over if you already have an Xbox One? I mean, that's something that I'm interested in knowing a lot more about.
Yeah, no,
before I want to slam it.
I think we definitely need to reach out to Phil and try to get him on the show, maybe sometime in May before E3, just to get some answers on that. I'm sure they'll explain more at E3, but nobody wants to wait for E3. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to wait for E3 to get answers. People are still a little confused from the Xbox side, and that's because they've been talking to the PC gamer. They haven't been talking to the Xbox gamer. They talk about Xbox and some of the benefits of it, but really they're talking to the PC gamer. They're trying to win back the PC install base. But as console gamers, it's not something that we like to hear. Now, you know, the fans will sit up there and say, or shall I say, some fans will sit up there and say, well, I don't have a problem with it going to PC. That's probably because you've played on PC. But if you're a hardcore Xbox guy and you love the console and you're a console gamer, you clearly don't want your games on PC. It's an incentive that takes away from the console, and you hurt the install base because it feels like a betrayal to a certain extent. Now, Phil has already said we're not going to get Halo on PC, so we all know that that's not going to happen. I won't say he directly came out and said that, but he did say that talking about something like that is sacrilege. And yeah, it's, PC and Halo doesn't go together. So, I don't know if that'll ever happen. But I can tell you that if more exclusives, like say for Gears goes to PC, or Forza goes to PC, or maybe even Killer Instinct goes to PC, you may have your own console install base turn on you. And that's the vibe that I've been getting lately. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, man. This goes way back to one of our first podcasts when I was kind of complaining about Microsoft not having enough exclusive games. And now this comes into play. When you go over to PC and you try to you're trying to rebrand PC and make PC gaming a big thing now, for Microsoft, they have to use established franchises. So of course we see Fable be the first game that goes over there as the cross-play game, and we know eventually there's going to be more exclusives. I think the first one is probably going to be Forza Horizon. That'll probably be the next one that goes over. But I think what they want to do is get more people on the software. Microsoft is a software company. They release hardware, but essentially they're a software company. So as long as they get people on the software, I think that's what really matters to them. They'll have an install base, and they can progress from there. But I think in the future, what they want to do, because they talked about PC having crossplay with Xbox, where PC could actually possibly stream games to the Xbox. What they might want to do is go kind of Sony's route, where they put their app on a smart TV. A lot of PC gamers like the convenience of the smaller area, smaller screens, and things like that. But if you want to bring your console gamer over to PC, you can, and still have the big picture without having to, hook up wires and things like that. Mm-hmm. If put an app either on the Xbox or, on smart TVs and things like that, and that becomes another feature, another avenue for Microsoft to reach more people. I think that's where they kind of want to go, is to broaden the audience as much as they. In regards to just the games going over, it's not a big deal to me. Like I've mentioned before, I play around on PC every now and again. I do have a Steam account. I maybe have 4 or 5 games on Steam. It's not a huge deal to me, but I can understand where, only console gamers are getting kind of upset. You invested your $500 plus dollars into a console, to have exclusive games. And when they start going to PC, they're still exclusive to, Microsoft and things like that. But if you have to deal with, people saying, oh, there's no exclusive games on Xbox, it's like, Well, there really isn't. If you consider PC to be another console, I mean, you don't see the other companies doing the same, going that same route. You would never see an Uncharted on PC or The Last of Us or God of War or things like that. Sony has done really well, and Nintendo have done really well of keeping their exclusive games exclusive. And I would love to see Microsoft kind of do the same thing. They announced Scalebound. If Scalebound goes to PC, why would I take the time to buy it on console if I can probably up-res whatever graphics it's going to look like on an Xbox on my PC? If I can run the game at 4K, why would I buy it on Xbox?
Yeah, that's actually a good point, man.
Right.
Actually a good point.
I
Yeah,
said
with the
that
resolution.
before. I said that before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. I definitely agree.
If they continue down this route, adding more games to PC, that share the same ecosystem with Xbox One, I mean, they could be shooting themselves in the foot as far as people buying the hardware. But I think people will still be interested in the software. I mean, you'll get more people on PC to purchase games and not actually pirate them. So, they'll capture the revenue there. But, for a console gamer, I totally understand why they're upset. I mean, you're taking what I invested in and diluting it. So my investment has no value.
Right.
Yeah, man. There's a big initiative with Microsoft to go towards the software side now. They're putting a big emphasis on that. So I think it's only gonna, just as it goes along, it's gonna become more evident that it's the software end is where everything eventually is just gonna be from Microsoft. Everything. So where that leaves Xbox as far as hardware remains to be seen, but it just seems like everything is just pushing that way.
Right. I mean, I hear the fans all the time. You got the PC guys saying, well, what about when PC games come exclusively to the Xbox One? And, I tell people all the time, listen, I like the PC platform, but that's exactly what it is, a platform. It's not a console. I don't consider it a console. I don't consider it a gaming console. And I don't consider it in the discussion or competition with PlayStation, Nintendo, or Xbox. And that's because of the simple fact that the hardware is changeable. Those three consoles are static. Optimization is what helps the console last as long as it does. Learning of the software, learning of the APIs. The PCs are so variable. And then you have upgrades consistently, new cards coming out, more RAM coming out. So you're able to upgrade monitors and things like that to give yourself the best rig, the best hardware possible for some of the games that release on PC. I don't consider them in the same category as the consoles. So when it comes to console gaming, exclusives are important. It's very important. It's what really identifies that console. It gives the console a self-worth and an incentive to go out and buy it because these games are on here. But again, this is for PC gamers. Now, you're going to have casuals out there that say, hey, I'm not, I don't know anything about PC. I don't know what it does, but I know I can get an Xbox and play Halo 5 for, $350 and then $60 on a system and things like that. The same thing with something like Tomb Raider or Scalebound or Killer Instinct or, any of the other exclusives that the Xbox has, from Forza down to possibly coming out this year, maybe Rare's title as well. But at the same time, the PC gamer sits there, and these are the guys really, if you think about it, the ones who are hesitant to even buy an Xbox in the first place because most of them probably already have PlayStations. Because as a PC person, usually you're all about resolution. You've been getting that for years. You're all about, X amount of frames per second. You've been getting that from years. And as of late, the PlayStation has been the console that's been the most consistent because the way the hardware is designed is more streamlined. Whereas the Xbox is, I won't say more complicated, but it slightly is more complicated, at least until DX12 comes out. So because of that, it's easier to go PC PlayStation than it is to go PC Xbox. Then you turn around and add an app to it. That makes it even worse. You know what I'm saying? It makes it even worse. It's like, okay, now I'm PC, PlayStation, and then I got the Xbox app. I don't have to buy an Xbox. So you stagnate your install base worldwide, and you take a change in direction in where you're going. And that leaves us console gamers with a giant question mark on our foreheads. What happens to the console gamer? That's the question. What happens to the console gamer? Because as the install base, it will grow. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it won't grow. What I am saying is that you're missing a component of people who game on PC who would have purchased an Xbox One, but possibly may not, because more exclusives from the Xbox One is going to go to PC. And again, this is what I'm saying. From a business standpoint, this makes complete sense. It makes the most sense of anything that you can possibly do. You bring the Steam install base to the Xbox Live app free of charge and give them the ability to purchase X amount of games. That's only on Xbox One, but now associated with Windows 10 and is exclusively to Windows 10. You can't get them on Steam. So those 80 million plus Steam people, you may get half the install. You may get more than half the install. But now you jump up from selling maybe 1 million, 2 million on Xbox One to 4, 5, maybe 6 million combined per studio. That's major success. That is beyond successful. But at the same time, again, what do you keep on the console to keep people buying the console? That's a question. Brandon, what do you think that they need to keep on the console to keep people buying the console?
I think they're going to need more than just the Halos, the Gears, the Forzas. As much as I love those games, those are games that at this point are guarantees not to go anywhere. But I think they need more than that. I think they need, if Quantum Break goes PC, then what?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Quantum Break can't go PC. As much as Remedy does and puts into their games, that game cannot go PC. It's got to stay Xbox. You got to give me a reason to spend my $400 on a console.
Right.
A game like Scalebound has to stay on Xbox. But even big multiplayer games, they have to stay on Xbox. You have to, Microsoft talks so big about Xbox Live and why it's so great, and it's the best place to play, your online games. So big online games besides the Halos, the Forzas, and the Gears have to also stay on Xbox. They have great third-party partners and things like that. But this goes back to them not having enough exclusives. Phil said that he wanted to dig back, in his old goodie bag and pull out some, old exclusives and kind of bring them back to the forefront. And I think that kind of has to be the strategy going forward, is that, we have to see what IP we can actually work in and make sense for Xbox One. And we'll actually bring more fans to the console, because I think if Quantum Break goes PC, Scalebound goes PC, and whatever other major title goes PC, this holiday season, why would I buy a new Xbox One?
Right.
When I can save, that $400 I would have spent on the Xbox One, put a couple more $100 with it, and buy a PC that's going to have DX12, where I won't have to buy a bunch of RAM or extremely high GPU to run games at a higher standard, because DX12 is going to optimize the GPUs and your PC anyway.
Right.
So why would I spend $400 on a console when I can spend a couple more hundred and get a better PC and get a bigger variety of games?
Right. And again, this is for the PC gamer. This is who we're talking to, the PC gamer. And this is why we think that it kind of hurts the brand a bit. We know the casual gamer is going to buy it. We know there's more casual gamers out there. But when you turn around and you look at the competition, you really have to question, is this, does this make sense for the console market for Xbox One? And this is why I believe the next generation that comes out, we're not getting a console from Xbox. It's not going to happen. I really believe that. You know, Brad Wardell said this console is supposed to last about 10 years, that we haven't even reached its peaks. What he said on our show on the Brad Wardell special. But at the same time, you know, they usually go into development of consoles about the 7th, close to the 8th year of a generation. And, you know, a lot of people don't think it's going to last that long. But you look at the Xbox One and you see how versatile of a console it is, the way it updates, the way it's able to constantly push out new APIs and updated tools for the developers. I can see the console actually lasting a really long time and staying competitive. At the same time, the next console that comes out is going to be either a streaming device type of console or a console that's completely digital, and the graphics cards will be powerful, but they're also limited. It's something I read a while back that Microsoft is going to concentrate on Azure, and that one of the things limiting the graphics and capabilities of games is these graphics cards, because as a card they're limited. But if you run through a server, if you run through the cloud, then that makes sense because it's infinite. It's just open. And you can make amazing large worlds with amazing physics and stream that or download it. So, you know, I think the next console won't be that way. I think the next console is either going to be overly powerful, digital type of device to keep up with the hardware of PC. And they'll remove things like the disk tray and other things like that to lower the price, so that way it can be in homes. Or it's going to be some type of device that allows streaming to the console via Azure. And you're able to use it across multiple platforms, from PC to tablet to phone to the device that you purchase in replace of the next Xbox. I think that's a good point, because if you look at NVIDIA's new device, it does the exact same thing. Yep. I really believe that's where we're heading. And a lot of gamers may not like it, but I think that's really the direction Microsoft is going. And it's not going to be a 1, 2, 3 console market anymore. It's just you get the software wherever you can get it. That's where we're going. So it'll no longer be about, oh, I'm a PlayStation gamer, oh, I'm an Xbox gamer. No, we'll just have these apps. We'll just have these apps on different PCs or tablets, and then we'll have these different streaming or downloadable devices that's able to run the software. And that's it in a nutshell from these multiple boxes. Look at Nintendo. Nintendo's new NX that they're working on. It's the same type of thing that they're trying to do with Microsoft. Talking about Mario going to tablet, Donkey Kong on tablets. You're able to play games from Nintendo on PC. This is the future. This is where they're going, and it's either you're going to accept it or you're going to retire. So I don't know, man. It's a dramatic change, I think. And people talk about bandwidth, but remember, if the console lasts about 7 or 8 years, that's 7 or 8 years of technology in the bandwidth field. That means the United States standard-wise is trying to make the standard 25 megabytes per second in each home as a standard, which means more infrastructure for AT&T, Verizon, and Time Warner, which is the 3 major companies in the U.S. I don't know about worldwide. I can't speak for worldwide. Maybe somebody in the comment section will be able to do that for us. But as the world increases its bandwidth, doesn't it make more sense to start to look at cloud differently? As we complain about it now, 4 or 5 years from now, that might not be the same way. Everybody's standard internet may be 25 megabytes per second, and you don't even need that much to stream things nowadays. So, especially at speeds. You talk about fiber optics, all this stuff is happening. And in the technology world, 10 years is like 50 years in the technology world. Look how many phones we get. Look how many tablets we get. Look at how technology constantly grows. Look at the new cards. Look at DX12. By the time that the next API's out, we'll be on DX13. So, yeah, man, that's the future. I think that's the future. That's the direction they're going. And some people will like it, some people won't. But leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think. and we'll reminisce about it on the next podcast. Please stay tuned because we have a great couple of weeks coming up. Brandon, you have any thoughts you want to say before we head out of here?
Nah, man, I think I'm good. I mean, everybody stay tuned. Joe Montana football. I will be tweeting every day about that until we get more information. I think we should probably hear sometime in April if they're sticking to the mantra of releasing information every month. So sometime in April, I'd expect some new information there. Also, I forgot to shout out my boy Ryan Moody. Does great breakdown videos of NFL videos. So check those guys out as well. But other than that, man, we just keep it gaming. A lot of great games that release in March. Neverwinter is coming pretty soon. So, don't forget to, get that download. I got to shout out my boy Skittle. Great stream last night. Great stream. With Smite. So, that was amazing. So, I'm really proud of the team and what we've accomplished. And, that's about it, man.
Cool. Yeah, man, definitely check us out on Twitch if you haven't. That's where we do giveaways, guys. I know there's a lot of you who are not on Twitter. I'm telling you now, go to Twitch, look up Tick Podcast or Tick_podcast, and follow us. I mean, the last couple weeks we've given away Ori, LA Cops, Zombie Army. We gave away Smite Code last night. We also gave away Scream Ride. We're getting these games from Microsoft themselves. They are literally, making us a part or some type of, I guess you could say middleman to the gamers. And we are giving these games away every stream. Tons of games. So definitely log in on Twitch and follow us. If you're looking for us on iTunes, we are currently working on our RSS feed. We had a name issue. You can still look us up. It's actually TIC_podcast. I know a lot of people have been asking, how can I get the RSS feed? And they've been looking under Tick Podcast or the Inner Circle and haven't been able to find it. That's because it's under TIC_podcast. But we're working on getting that fixed and getting all the stuff back up for you guys. And soon enough, we'll have an app with that as well. So you guys could just have the app on your smartphones and your tablets, which would be really, really cool for all the listeners out there. And again, stay tuned over the next couple of weeks. We have Rebel Galaxy Red Carpet should be up on the website soon. Up on YouTube soon. As well as we'll have Chris Carler, the director of the Idea Xbox program. He'll be on the show next week, Saturday at 2 p.m., which is, I believe, the 28th. Yes, the 28th. So Saturday the 28th at 2 p.m., you can tune in to the Chris Carler special as we talk about the parody clause, what happened with No Man's Sky, and the abundance of indies that are now coming to the Xbox One platform, as well as AC Bongos in April. And we are currently in talks with Jeff Keighley, the hostess with the mostest. You guys know him, obviously, from the Xbox, you guys know him from the Game Awards show that's been happening over the last couple of years, from Spike TV. Now it's in Vegas, and they had the award show last year, so he'll be on the show as well, and we're trying to set up something with him. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to reach out to Phil Spencer and try to get him on the show before E3. And then eventually, at the end of the year, we're going to try to do and make it an annual show where we get to talk to him in October during the fall. So we really appreciate you all for listening. Tick is going to be bringing lots of new content, so stay tuned. In a nutshell. So we thank you again. We will see you guys in the next 2 weeks. I'm your host, KRXKL, with my boy Bmuny, and we're off this planet. Peace.
For the fans, by the fans.